I can actually never remember a time in my life when I wasn't inspired by the arts. I was fortunate to have been raised in a family that always valued art and artistic expression. I think it helped build, my self-confidence. Now in my job, I have to do a lot of public speaking, and I never have any doubts about being able to communicate to an audience. And I think a lot of that goes back to the fact that, in second grade, I was up on stage, in the school play. I have learned over the years that a really important part of being mayor is actually storytelling, communicating what our city's all about, communicating what a policy or an ordinance does. But those experiences, as a young person in the arts, I think helped prepared me for some of what I do. And it certainly helped just the way I look at the world. I am proud as a representative of the city of Toledo that our city in the late 1970s became one of, if not the very first cities in the country to set aside a percentage of its budget for the arts every year. We call it the 1% for the Arts program. Basically, before we get into any of the difficult budget decisions we face every year, how many police officers should we have, which streets should we resurface? Before we get into any of those conversations, we take a percentage of our budget, we put it in its own lockbox, and it can only be spent on the arts. Now many, many cities, hundreds of cities around the country have followed our lead, and Toledo has benefited from it. They know that they live in a city that is good at the arts and that loves the arts and values the arts. And so they rally around the arts. You always need to have it, not just when the sun is shining, but maybe more so when it is raining. Of all the things we were going to lose during COVID, we didn't want to lose our soul. And art is what provides a community its soul. We needed at that time to make sure that that which gives a city its soul were being supported. Because the soul of a human and the soul of a city, cries out for art, especially when things are darkest. You add up all of the people who work in art-related fields, it's an incredible percentage of our economy. I think that's the obvious part of it. What might not be as obvious, how much people emotionally need art to help process things that are happening in their own lives. From the very beginning, Toledo has always been open to different peoples, different cultures, has always looked for common understanding among different peoples, but always looked to build bridges, even frankly when the rest of the world was sharpening swords. And so that acceptance, which I do think is baked into the DNA of Toledo, is part of why we get the arts as much as we do, and why we have such a world-class museum and a symphony and ballet and the contributions that they all make to the fabric of our community.